Hi, good evening. Welcome to Business Live. Tonight on our program, banks and financial institutions lose 25 million cedis to spike in fraud cases last year. Now, latest data from the Bank of Ghana shows total value of fraud cases hit 1 billion cedis last year. Meanwhile, a banking expert, Dr. Benjamin Amwa, is blaming the spikes on weakness in banks' internal control systems.
The issue of fraud, and especially what is being reported by BOG, has got to do with more of the operational side of the bank. And that has got to do with the weakness in the internal control system that these institutions may have set up.
And promoting domestic tourism, Ghana Tourism Authority initiates tour car initiative with roofless coaches. How viable is that? We will discuss tonight. Thanks for joining us. My name is Darryl Kyle. Details after this break. Let's begin with our first story tonight. Banking and finance expert Dr. Benjamin Amwa has attributed the surge in reported cases of fraud in Ghana's banking industry to weakness in internal control systems. The latest Bank of Ghana report revealed that the total value of reported cases hit 1 billion cedis last year as compared to 115 million cedis in 2019. We will hear from Dr. Amwa in a moment. First, this report from my colleague George Afe.
The broad sense, bring in the issue of corporate governance. But then the issue of fraud, and especially what is being reported by BOG, has got to do with more of the operational side of the bank. And that has got to do with the weakness in the internal control system that these institutions may have set up. The controls are supposed to check the behavior of the officers of the bank. And if these internal control systems are lax, then you will have the officers of the bank getting themselves into some of these wrong behavior. So yes, there is corporate governance as the big banks have, and how effective these internal control systems are performing as expected. Now, banking is becoming more of open banking now, where third-party service providers are now getting into the mainstream banking system infrastructure to provide some level of service or support. Now, what is happening is that if you have third parties also contributing to the service delivery, they don't just tackle it from the bank's point of view. You must as well also as a regulator look at what these third-party service providers are providing. So that when you are building the firewalls are not just to the banks, but you extend it to the third-party service providers like the fintech companies that now have direct or indirect access into the database of these banks, into the system of the banks. Right. So they're going to have an end-to-end full value chain firewalls in the system. If not, a bank will be okay by way of internal controls, but a service provider, a third-party service provider may have weak control system that these fraudsters can then use to attack the bank from their point of view. So it's about the entire ecosystem so that the fraudsters cannot have any avenue to the banking system.
The thoughts of banking and finance expert, Dr. Benjamin Amwa. As we're hearing from the Bank of Ghana data, banks and financial institutions lost 25 million cedis to the spike in fraud cases last year. We want to bring you now that report filed by my colleague George Afe.
The report showed that the increase was as a result of what the Bank of Ghana describes as notable increase in high values of attempted correspondent fraud. It again showed that there was significant increase of staff involvement in fraud cases, especially when it came to suppression of cash. These staff accounted for 56% of the fraud cases and 93% of the reported cash suppression. The Bank of Ghana was where the data recovered over the years showed a persistent trend of staff involvement in these fraud cases, despite numerous notices of caution sounded out to the banking industry in almost every fraud report issued since 2017. The total number of fraud cases reported for last year stood at 2,608 compared to 2,311 fraud cases reported in 2019, representing almost 13% increase. Fraudulent withdrawals came up as the second most reported case after the suppression of cash. The Bank of Ghana argues that the high involvement of staff in these fraud cases can be attributed to the absence of corporate governance structures in some sections in the banking industry, resulting in the lack of accountability and transparency in their activities.
Now, the Ghana Tourism Authority has initiated its domestic tourism agenda through the deployment of roofless coaches. These coaches will serve as transportation for tourists in Accra to explore some historic sites in the regional capital. It comes as Ghana lost $3 billion to COVID-19, which locked away tourists from reveling. Now, Jones Aruna Nelson is head of public relations for the Ghana Tourism Authority.
Of the promotion that we started. So in terms of domestic tourism, we are encouraging Ghanaians to travel, to take a tour, take a holiday. You realize that the average Ghanaian hardly travels except attending funerals or going for parties and anniversaries. So what we want to achieve is this. One of the ways that we are using to promote domestic tour is city tour. So as we embark on this city tour, we are saying that at least in the region that you live in, you need to know about one or two attractions. So as we go around the historical and cultural places as well as iconic structures in the metropolis, we are telling our fellow Ghanaians that, look, we have these monuments very important for you to know. And when you know, you can also educate your other colleagues, and then we'll all come on board. Of course, this has come as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, which hit the tourism industry, very hard. And the numbers for international, figures, it dwindled if you look at 2019 to 2020. So we are saying that the way forward is domestic tourism. Of course, if you go to other countries like Asia and the rest, you realize that domestic tourism is their backbone.
All right. So, what remains the routes that you're going to be applying this morning? Which routes are you going to be applying?
Sure. We have an approved route. So from here at the Accra Tourist Information Center, we'll go through Kentakita, you are exchange here, through the police headquarters, down, then we'll go through Oxford Street. From there, we hit Osu Presby. Then we meander our way through the Stadium Road. Then we go through Lotteries, Bank of Ghana, Wesley Church, down there. And then we meander our way as well to fire service through Jamestown. Of course, when we get to Jamestown, there are exciting scenes, historical and cultural places that we'll have to visit. So at Jamestown, we'll do a stopover and do a tour of the Jamestown. We have site guides on board. And then we'll pass through the art center. Briefly, we'll drive through we'll come back to Mokola, the law school area, of which we'll do some small, we'll be going slowly for people to attract. We'll also attract them. We tell them about the fact that, look, the city tour is very, very interesting and that you need to be on board. And then from there, we'll come straight back to Attic. Yeah.
Well, it really sounds like fun. Joining me is Imano Fimpon, Executive Secretary of the Ghana Tourism Federation, to discuss this innovation, if you like. Great that you could join us tonight. What do you make of the idea of roofless coaches going around town? How does it help promote our domestic tourism drive?
Well, thank you very much, Darrell. Very good evening to our cherished viewers. I think it's a brilliant idea and it's fun as well. I've been on it and it was an awesome opportunity to travel within the Accra city and have an area view of some places in Accra that one would never see if you don't get on these buses. So yes, it's a brilliant idea.
Great. The problem for me though is that we haven't painstakingly developed our tourism sector. I'm just trying to wrap my head around how many places I can think about if I wanted to visit Accra. I mean, when it comes to a domestic tourism infrastructure, maybe there are some you can suggest to me, or perhaps you're also not really making noise about them.
I think probably we are not making enough noise about it. We always conclude that Ghanaians don't like traveling, which I tell people it is not true. If you travel all over the world, Ghanaians travel. So I think what we have not done very well as stakeholders in the tourism and hospitality industry is to let people know why they should travel and where they should travel to. Recently, I was on a TV show and I told somebody if she knew, the host, if she knew there was a waterfall at Dodo. I said, no, I've never heard of
it.
Really? Yeah, I'm telling you, beautiful waterfall.
I didn't know about that.
You see, beautiful waterfall that you go there and you see a semblance of 10 Downing Street, the British type of the Parliament is there in Dodowa. You get there, you see the Dodowa forest. The history behind the Dodowa forest is awesome. You can spend about 3 days in Dodowa just touring in Dodowa alone. And Dodowa is just some 30 to 45 minutes drive away from Accra. So I think what we have not done very well is to let people know what we have around and also probably develop what we have and let people know and visit the places.
Thanks to you, at least today I know there's a waterfall at Dodowa right here in the Greater Accra region. Yes. Where else can you suggest?
I think, you know, in tourism, it depends on where one's interest is. So if you look at even the lighthouse at Jamestown, that alone, if you go on the lighthouse, and you climb up and you look at the scenes around Jamestown, getting to the art center, and you look at the beauty of Accra. Yes, forgetting about the noise and everything, you climb up there and you look at the serene environment, the beauty of Accra. That alone brings you joy. You can also go beyond, just a little beyond Accra. You go to Shire Hills. There's so much there that you can also watch. You can spend, in fact, they recommend that if you are coming to Shire Hills, the minimum time that you spend there is 4 hours. There's so much there you can learn at Shire Hills. So there's a lot around us that we don't pay attention to them.
And not to talk about, sorry to cut you, not to talk about the beaches. I don't want to go there because I feel that there's so much we can do with our beaches that we are not doing. So that comes back to the domestic tourism infrastructure, but we have to commend the Ghana Tourism Authority for the concerted effort. They've come up with initiatives. Today I was reading about Experience Ghana, See Ghana. What do you think about these initiatives? Are they properly targeted? How would you rate the response from the public to some of these things?
Well, Darrell, we are still working on some few things. You mentioned Experience Ghana, Share Ghana, which is one of the initiatives that we developed recently because of COVID-19 and the fact that we cannot really trust international arrivals because we are not too sure about anything with regards to COVID-19. So one of the initiatives was Experience Ghana, Share Ghana, and what we are also seeing, the Ruthless Coach. And then we also have Mami Dede. Maybe you didn't see that one, the boy shaker. Mami Dede is also available.
Wow.
So we have a number of initiatives that is geared towards getting people to appreciate domestic tourism and also get around our country. So yes, just yesterday we had a conference, Earth Right. The purpose of Earth Right is to let people know that we should make very good use of our beaches. So very soon you will see tourism police going around the beaches and making sure that people don't defecate at our beaches. And we're also going to develop about 4 areas along the beach side where it will be at an international level. People can travel from all over the world to come and visit our beaches. So very soon you will see a number of initiatives. Taxi drivers, Uber drivers, coach drivers will all be trained about our tourism products and product knowledge of other things. Yes.
That sounds exciting. My final question, I mean, we're doing all of this so that businesses like yours that have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic at least have something they can work with. How do you anticipate that this domestic tourism drive will impact the businesses of those under you, the Tourism Federation?
Darrell, I think it will impact most of our police or organizations under the Federation. Recently, I had a chat with a 4-star hotel general manager, and what he told me shocked me. He said that in the past, they have always depended on the international arrivals, but when COVID hit them, they decided to look at domestic tourism. And for the past 7 months or so, almost every day, they have about 70% occupancy rate. So, and these people are not international arrivals, they are locals, people in Ghana who go to their hotel to sleep there. So what it means is that if we focus on domestic tourism, if you focus on our local people, if we make the rate good, people will sleep in our hotels and patronize our products and services.
All right, thank you so much, as always, Imano Frimpong there, the Executive Secretary of the Ghana Tourism Federation. Now, about 90 small and medium-scale enterprises will soon benefit from a training project under the Sustaining Competitive and Responsible Enterprises Core of the International Labour Organization, ILO. The program is being implemented by the Management, Development and Productivity Institute with support from Invest for Jobs and the ILO. It is aimed at boosting growth and productivity of SMEs in order to create jobs. Here is a report.
Small and medium-scale enterprises in Ghana represent about 85% of businesses, largely within the private sector, and contribute about 70% of Ghana's gross domestic product. They are faced with numerous challenges like high interest rates, among others. In view of this, to promote enterprise competitiveness and sustainable jobs for SMEs, the Management, Development and Productivity Institute, with support from Invest for Jobs, an initiative by the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, has launched the Sustaining Competitive and Responsible Enterprises Training Program. Addressing stakeholders, team leader of Invest for Jobs, John Duty, expressed his excitement about the strong partnership with MDPI and ILO in jointly achieving the set objectives.
Ghana government signed up to this project that will create 10,000 decent jobs. 10,000. And ensure that 18,000 people have improved working conditions. These figures may sound very low, but ILO definitions on what is called a decent job makes these figures huge.
The national coordinator for the ILO in Ghana, Samuel Asiedu, explained that there is high expectations of the collaboration with the MDPI.
Had many successful development cooperation projects in Ghana and globally. So we have high expectations of this collaboration with MDPI. We believe the MDPI will show leadership and work seamlessly with other implementing partners, and I mentioned them earlier: Score Trading Solutions Ghana, secondly Takoradi Chamber of Commerce and Industries, and Hoku Consult, to implement this project successfully.
The project, when completed, will also equip the SMEs to meet international requirements.
Well, so it's been more than a year since the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic. Hundreds of millions of people have lived through lockdowns. Many have made the abrupt shift to working from home, whilst millions have lost their jobs. The future looks uncertain. So tonight on Joy Business Social, we'll be taking a look at the world of work post-COVID-19 and the skill set needed. Joining the conversation will be Michael Porter, a global HR expert based in the UK, and Senor Jabing, also an HR expert based here in Ghana. The time is 6 p.m. and we'll be streaming live on our social media platforms. It will be hosted by yours truly, and so do not miss it. It's happening tonight at 6. You're watching Business Live. We're taking a short break. More stories coming up. And welcome back to Business Live. The Ghana Export Promotion Authority has partnered the Accra Digital Center to upscale the competitiveness of entrepreneurs in the information and technology ecospace. Now, today saw both parties begin an IT exhibition where the Chief Executive of GEPA, Dr. Sabiasari, spoke to my colleague Charles IT on some interventions to make their market appealing.
So GEPA's mandate to promote non-traditional exports on the international market includes services, and in the past we haven't taken any particular look at how and where to market our services. But for the past 2 years we've looked at our services, which includes hospitality, which includes health, education, and everything in between, and we've decided that it is about time to take a keen interest in promoting our services, because other countries just depend on services and they don't even have other products like we have. So sometimes I think we are spoiled for choice and then we ignore other areas, but services have become very important to us now as a country, and that is why, as part of us promoting services, we've done other areas. We are looking at the IT, and we thought the best thing to do is to collaborate with any agency that is in that space. So we called on the Ministry of Communications agency, the Accra Digital Center, and we talked to them, and they shared the same view with us, and so we decided, why not now work together to promote what we have. Yes, and that's why you see this fair.
Great. We do know about the National Export Development Strategy, which has also embodied specific targets for the net exports of goods and services. But with the spec of the IT center, now we have Twitter coming on board, we have a Google AI center in Accra, in Ghana. How do you leverage on this to improve the export margins of IT services?
Everything that they offer helps our exporters. So we are game. And that's why we have our Impact Hub, which is, IT enabled for everybody to come and take advantage of it. So we are working with all of these players in the industry. Yeah.
Finally, we just ended the Sound Arts exhibition. I mean, it's about ending this week, I believe, or it's already ended.
It's still Sunday.
Exactly. So it's going to be ending this week. What were the expectations in the fine arts and crafts industry? You talked about the fact that we're losing so much money from this untapped industry. But now that we've had the Sound Art and several artists are coming on board, what expectations are there for the long term?
We are expecting that we will be able to expose them to the world. I mean, most of them have been just plying their trade here, but now it used to be that the eye on art was on China.
And that's Business Live tonight. Thanks for watching. Let's meet in 30 minutes time for Joy Business Social as we discuss the world of work post-COVID-19 that's coming up at 6 o'clock. Thanks for watching, everyone. We're back same time tomorrow.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Hello and welcome to Springboard, your virtual university